Viral University professor chimes in on the two-state solution. I'm excited to check this one out. I'm your favorite Zionist Prince, Tal Traveling Clat. Let's get right into this.
Do you believe in a two-state solution similar to that of the original, 1940 borders, or at least something like the Oslo Accords? Or do you think a one-state solution would bring more peace long-term?
You see,
by the way, guys, subscribe to the channel right now because we're trying to get to 500,000 subscribers. Really appreciate your help.
this is the Mediterranean. Here's Egypt. This is what I mean. You're gonna go through here. So if you say like, oh, there's been conflict in this region forever, people say this. I'm gonna respond to your question. But there's been conflict in this region forever. They've been fighting forever. This is Europe in the year 1000. Europeans have been fighting forever. That looks nothing like Europe today. The map of Europe has been changing constantly. The map of this area of Israel has been changing constantly. So when we say like, oh, there's conflict, people have been fighting forever, that's just justification to not really understand the nature of sociology. So this is Gaza right here, okay? And this is what's called the West Bank. And Jerusalem is right there. And Jerusalem was identified as the international community. So it was not going to be aligned with Palestinians. It was not going to be aligned with Israel. That has changed over time. And I'm not going to get into some of the details of the more recent politics, but this is the West Bank here. This region is completely closed off. Israel controlled this region here, and Israel controlled this region, which was primarily set aside for Palestinians. But Israel left the Gaza in the early 2000s and gave it over to the Palestinians. Hamas took over, and this is completely cut off. So the two-state solution would be this right here. So we have the West Bank, and we have Gaza, and then we have Israel proper, in which 25% of the people living in here are Arabs, okay? Arab Christians and Arab Muslims, but citizens of Israel. And one can make an argument for second-class status for many of them, and there are. I travel with my Arab friends in Israel, and I saw second class, but certain aspects were like, this isn't really fair, right? But nonetheless, so the idea is, well, could this work out? So Palestinians stay here, and the Israelis control this, Israel controls this, and then we work it out. You have these two states, and that's good. Or do we need to break down all these borders and bring Jews and Arabs together as one single nation living in peace? My response is, either one can lead to peace. It doesn't matter. What matters is the people who are making the decisions believe that that is the best option to move forward. Right? And what's exceptionally important, and that you all know this, so you think about this, a very small group of people can radically change the course of history and can radically change the course of peace. You know, when you go through airport security and you take your shoes off, that was because of one single human being who put a bomb in his shoes and then changed travel for billions of travelers because of that. One single human being. It doesn't take a lot to throw things off. And so my thing is, it's interesting how many people I hear talk about Palestinians in Gaza, what Palestinians in Gaza think, who never talked to or met a Palestinian in Gaza, or what Jews in Israel think, what Jews in the settlements in the West Bank think. And so what has happened here is over time, in the West Bank, Jews have gone in and taken over certain areas of the West Bank. And sometimes in exchange, that it's like, okay, they're really living with and working alongside the Palestinians who are living there. And in other instances, taking over the land. And those of you who are Jewish, if you think that the process of Jews Jewish families and Jewish communities who are living on land in the West Bank and have built these communities, mostly walled communities, who did that with the openness and embrace of Palestinians and did it in a fair and democratic process. My guess is you've never been to the West Bank and you've never talked to people about how some of that unraveled. And I have friends and colleagues who live in some of those communities and are amazing human beings who are working alongside with and have immensely positive relationships with their Arab neighbors, are embraced by their Arab neighbors, and in turn embrace back. So if you say, oh, I support the Palestinians and these settlers all have to go, my guess would be you've probably never been there. I mean, you've probably never had conversations with people. You've probably not understood or seen the complexity of the relationships between people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That couldn't be more true. Listen, on this YouTube channel, on my channel here, we've taken you into the West Bank, into Judea and Samaria to meet both Palestinians and Jews multiple times. I've done, probably 10, 15 episodes on this in total now. We went into the biggest city, Ariel. We toured the university. We showed how Arabs are actually studying. Palestinians who claim that their land is being stolen from them are studying at universities stolen from them. It doesn't make any sense. But the reality is, if you're advocating for one group or the other to have to leave the land, and most of the times it comes from the pro-Palestinian side advocating for the fact that all Arabs or all Jews need to leave the land, especially from Judea and Samaria, from the West Bank, it usually comes from a place of complete ignorance. You don't know. You've never been. You've never seen. You've never talked to anybody from there. You don't know that there's so many of these settlers, which I think is such a racist term. These settlers that actually speak fluent Arabic. They go in. They fix their cars. They go do grocery shopping. They shop alongside the Arabs. They live alongside the Arabs in relative peace. And I know that it always seems like it's embroiled and there's terrorism and there's violence. And there is. I'm not saying that there isn't. But actually in the day-to-day, when you go around Judea and Samaria, there's actually immense cohesion. And people are actually interacting. There's multiple points in Judea and Samaria where Arabs and Jews are shopping together in the same supermarkets. It's a weird thing, but they are. And they make peace with each other, and they go to each other's mechanics, and they go to each other's doctors. It's everything you see in the media you need to question. Everything. And if you really want to understand this place, you need to come here and be here on the ground to see it. I really believe in that. And you can talk about it all you want. It was the same. This goes back to the conversation of Douglas Murray versus that idiot Dave Smith. But where Douglas Murray was like, "You haven't been." It doesn't mean you can't talk about it. Tfaddal, Habibi, go talk about it. Talk about it all you want. Talk about it from here to there. It doesn't matter. But your opinion means nothing to me if you haven't really been here and you have access. Everyone has access to come here pretty much. You can come here. It'll cost a little bit of money. It'll make you a little bit scared, but you can come here. You can see it. You can experience it. You want to talk out of your ass all day. But my opinion means more than yours. What I'm saying means more than what you say because you haven't done the work to actually be here. And I really believe in that. I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to talk about it, but where is the value in your opinion if you haven't seen it? If you don't understand it? If you haven't walked it? There's immense nuance and complexity to this issue. I really, really believe in that. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, class.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel. And you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.